Welcome, everyone. I'm Jen Dushin from the Akashic Love Field, and we're doing another Akashic Love Field session. And I have Betsy with me, so we're going to go through the process. Before we begin, Betsy, tell me about, have you had any experiences with having Akashic readings before?
I have. I worked with a lady for a short time right around COVID, and she really pointed out some things that I was surprised had been following me through lifetimes. It,
Right.
wa- it was very helpful at that time.
Excellent. Yes, it's amazing what information is stored in the Akashic records of our souls, past lifetimes, even this lifetime, that we don't know, or maybe we've never put the little links together. All
Yeah.
right.
And
Yeah. What is the question?
why am I so focused on lack of self worth that I don't move forward anywhere?
Hmm, good question. Let's see what the record keepers of the Akashic Love Field have to say. Why are you so focused on lack that you can't move forward? So, the first thing I'm hearing about this focusing on lack is the thing about lack for you, and this could apply to others, right? So it's just the way it is for many people. But in your case, we are doing the record. So what I'm hearing is that lack has more, what's the word? It feels more real than abundance. There, does that make sense to you what I'm saying?
Yes.
Right? It's easy to shape it, to hold it, to put words around it. And much of your experience has been about naming the lack or being focused on lack because it's tangible, right? I don't have what I want. I can't see where I want to go. I don't have the energy, whatever it is, right? It's not available for me. Right. So, one of the things they're saying about you is that because you're somebody who has a lot of what we might call empathy, right? So you have a lot of awareness of other people's feelings, other people's needs, and you didn't know as a child because you were not shown, and even gone through as an adult how to separate that from yourself. So, because you are somebody who has a lot of space in you and most of it's taken up with other people's feelings, other people's needs, right? So, when you're focused on that, and if you're with around people who are in lack, it creates two things. It creates anxiety because you feel like you're supposed to do something about it. And the other thing that it does is it makes you think this is you, right? That is part of you, right? And then I have to do something, but it's also me. And the third thing is it keeps you ungrounded. So you are not in your body properly. You're not grounded to your own beingness the way it needs to be on earth. So you're not in touch with yourself. You are grasping on these things that are energies of others that you think, not with your conscious mind, but with your awareness, like, oh, this is who I am, or this is this feeling or this experience I need to hold on to, or I need to do something about. And it feels like a lot of your upbringing was fear-based. So there was a lot of what isn't available. So it feels like it was this kind of energy of, I'm here, kind of sort of grasping in a way that I'm here, but I need to be there and I can't get there. So it feels like it's a lot of effort to, and this is what you were surrounded with. It's not saying this is who you are, but this is the energy you were surrounded with. So the sort of feeling of I can't go forward is the physical feeling I can't go forward because you're not present in your body. So the way you are present is your body speaks to you through lack of energy or maybe symptoms of lack, right? And this is expanded, shall we say, through being unable to express how you feel about what's happening. How does that sound? How is that landing with you?
Sounds like it sums it up in a nutshell. Even from people who are intuitive and able to look at past lives, they don't specifically use Akashic records, but there has been multiple lifetimes where I have been in lack and powerless.
Right, right. And that those two go together. And you know, it's so interesting because from our perspective, right, from the Akashic perspective and from the soul perspective, lack and being powerless is a fascinating thing, right? It's not a good or bad thing. It's fascinating, right? And it's fascinating, but it can also lead to looping in a certain energy, right? Because it's familiar, it's easier, right? Even though it doesn't feel easy to be in lack, it's easier to be with the familiar. I know what lack feels like, and I know how to act with lack. I know how to respond to lack. Like I got all these phrases. I know what to say, right? This is like, oh, yeah, I know what to do. I can say, oh, I never get what I want, or this is hard, or whatever, however you phrase it. So these situations, or the situation that you've chosen, right, in this lifetime, and as you've mentioned, other lifetimes, is when you experience lack and the pain and the confusion, right? The kind of disembodiedness of being in lack, even though it feels very physical, right? Lack feels very physical because you feel it in your body, you feel it in your experience. Is the body and the soul desire you to want something different, right? So you cannot get to abundance through lack. Doesn't matter how you try, right?
And I know it's not about bringing things in for abundance. I know it's an inside job.
Well, it's an inside job, but it's also an external experience, right? So when you have external experiences that teach you abundance, for example, we can use that word abundance is the opposite. When we have experiences that go, let me be loving to you without any condition, right? Let me fill you with an experience. Then your body goes, oh, I don't know what that is, but I like that, right? I'm interested in that unfamiliar thing. I want more of that, being held in unconditional love or just being held in love no matter what, right? I want to be showered in it. I want to be immersed in it. I want to be overflowing in it. But when you don't have those experiences, now in your life, in this life, you have not had the experiences that have registered in your system. Do you see what I'm saying? You don't know what abundance is. And if you don't know, if you haven't experienced abundance, even like I say, abundance of love, of somebody bringing you, or even I'm going into the garden and I'm going to cut 50 flowers and I'm going to make a huge bouquet in my house because that's abundance, right? So
Hmm.
do you see how you need to have a reference point? If all you've experienced is lack, there's no way to get to abundance, right? And it's not because it's an inside job. It's because we need references to go, okay, abundance is as real as lack, right? Now I've had my fill of lack, and I know what it feels like, and I've tested it out, and I've experimented with it, and I felt all the things around it, right? And now I want to feel what it feels like to be abundant. Now, this is where it comes to what you're calling the inside job. This is where it becomes your responsibility, all right, is to look for abundance, not look for lack, right? So you're looking for proof of abundance in order that your mind and body and your being can go, oh, yeah, that's what I want, right? Because you keep going, well, it's not available for me. I can't have that. No, thank you. Right? Then you stay in that same cycle of lack because it's a leap of faith, right? You have to leap into, I want to experience what abundance is. Okay, mind, body, show me abundance. Let me have some experience of abundance.
And it was very interesting. You started with it. Part of it's being empathic, and yeah, just feeling that lack all the time.
Right.
I have a very unique job, which takes me into contact with people who are in lack at this moment, seriously in lack.
Mm. Mm.
But that's who I've always gravitated to. So learning that connection, it's not my lack always, it's what I'm
Right.
absorbing.
Exactly. You absorbing this because you're a kinetic. So you're somebody who feels things deeply. And when you can't separate yourself from someone else's experience, then it becomes your experience, right?
Hmm.
So the fact that you've chosen a job that puts you in the forefront of lack and what comes with that, right? Because there is no doubt there's pain around being in lack, and it's painful to be around people who are suffering and in lack. However, it doesn't matter how much excess there is to people who only see lack, right? Because they will never be able to understand what it is because they haven't experienced it. So even for people who have nothing or in extreme lack with things they need, right? They can still have an abundance of beauty. They can have an abundance of love, right? They can be an abundance of compassion, of connection, of looking at the world, right? And going, oh, this is amazing, right? So it's really about refusing to be controlled by the idea of lack because lack creates blinders. Lack lets you only look at certain things, only feel certain things. And it prevents you from looking at the abundance. There is abundance and proof of abundance everywhere. But when we are focused on lack, we can't see it. And one thing you can do is you start to demand of your brain to look for abundance. So you make it a question, right? Because your brain gets engaged with question. show me the abundance, or where's the abundance for me today? I'm so excited to welcome the abundance, right, into my being, because the more you focus on abundance, the more it becomes apparent, right? So even though it can be those things I say that are uh, intangible things or things people may not go, oh, that's nothing. It's everything, right? Because it's the awareness that things are so abundant. Look at this. You go to a market and there's like a big container of tomatoes. Oh my God, look at the abundance of tomatoes, right? So you're learning and becoming in tune with abundance. And when you become in tune with abundance, what starts to happen is your body, first of all, your body can relax. Your nervous system is able to calm, because it's like, oh, well, I've seen the opposite and I'm trying to avoid lack, but all the thing I do is lack, because that's the only thing that is, it's the only thing that can be attracted from that place. When you're in the place where you are welcoming what is desirable, right? It's desirable because it's beautiful and it's soft and it's loving. And sometimes we don't have people around us who love us, but we can love ourselves, right? We can be gentle in the sense of like how we started in that place of, well, I should, or I need to, or something like that. That's not loving to oneself, right? That's not an abundant approach. It's not like a cop out, right? It's an awareness that in order for me to get better at doing the things that I really want, to take those steps forward, I'm teaching myself what abundance is, and I'm treating myself as a beautiful, abundant being. I'm loving myself, so I'm being incredibly kind to myself, right?
And it's almost working from a reverse perspective today, because abundance may mean silence and space too.
Right? Absolutely. I mean, what could be more luxurious for a person who feels so many things and feels other people's things, to be in a space of silence and to be with nothing, right? I mean, nothing, not saying you don't have anything, but be surrounded by a big energy of not having to hear anyone, right? Not having to listen to anyone and just be with yourself, right?
Yes. And to spill my own beans, because I don't keep it a secret. Hoarding is one of my issues. And how much abundance will I have when I don't have to have the fake abundance?
Right, because of course hoarding comes from lack, right? Hoarding
Mm-hmm.
is another symptom of lack. I won't get it, or it might go away from me. Therefore, it's a control issue. Let me keep these things, right? And as you say, when you can feel safe enough to go, I don't need these things because I have so much. So much is available to me. And again, it's what's so important is this thing you're saying. It's the things we don't always recognize: peace, stillness, spaciousness, a cornucopia of love, of being surrounded by beauty, of the simplest things, even, you know, the anti-hoarder aspect in terms of, well, I have so much space when I take all these things. Everything in your home, everything in your body and your system takes up space, right? This is valuable real estate that you are giving to these things so you don't have to be with yourself,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
right? And so when you are with yourself, when you can open that space up and go, oh, I can just start with one space, one room, one place where I can spoil myself, right? Luxuriate in the abundance of space, of silence, of peace.
It's an exciting, scary thought.
Right, right. But this is it. It's the excitement and the scariness, because in actual fact, they say our brain doesn't know the difference between being excited or being scared. Um, it's the same thing. The only time where it really is necessary is when we truly are in danger, right? Because when we are constantly in fear, not that there's anything wrong with you having fear about this excitement, you know, that when we are in fear of losing things or not being enough or etc., that all impacts our nervous system, which of course puts us into fight, flight, fawn, all these behaviors that interfere with our ability to leap into the next thing excitedly, whatever.
Yeah, it's there's been a lot of road markers this morning. It's like, okay, that has a little more clarity. That has a little more. Oh, that has to do with all of these past experiences, this life and previous.
Right. And
Wow.
also, right. Amazing. But I think the big thing for you as an empath, because we have so much instruction that wants us to look backwards. And there is information in the past. However, in your case, it's good to focus on, whatever happened in the past, this lifetime, another lifetime, many lifetimes. It's great. It happened. You experienced it. But to move forward means you have to be present, right? You cannot move forward if you're not in the present. So if you're looking to the past, and I understand why you've done it and do it and why we all do it. You look
Mhm.
to the past for information, but at some point it's like, okay, I have to stop gathering information. I have to stop looking behind me. I just need to be here now. What do I need now to go to that next step, to take that leap? And maybe it's just a tiny leap, right? Maybe that tiny leap is dancing in your living room because you feel so abundant. What does it feel like? I want to feel what it feels like to treat myself with such love and feel so free. And then maybe I'm like, okay, I want this room to look different, right? I'm going to do
Mhm.
something, right? Or whatever. But do you see how when you stop looking behind and you start being with what is, it's easier to take the next step.
Yeah, and that was being present was very impactful right when we first started because I couldn't shut off
Right,
my run everywhere and see what I needed to fuss with.
right, right. And that's and just want you to put your hand on your heart and your other hand on your belly and just acknowledge the power of your body, this incredible vessel that you have to experience this amazing, glorious life.
So much disregard for my body.
Right. But this has been put on us, and now you can free yourself from that, right? Because your body needs you and your body speaks to you. And when we don't listen, it just gets louder and hurts more. But we cannot be on this earth without these bodies. So we really
They're
need.
very helpful, yes.
Yeah, they are very helpful. And it's recognizing the in, innate intelligence of the body and how aware the body is and what it needs from us in order to, like, what does your body need in order to feel more at peace, more present?
You see my lights flashing. So I just say the lights are flashing to tell me what I need.
Right, right. There you go. Pay attention, pay attention. Right. So instead of leaving your body when things get difficult, you have to come into your body, right? You have to hear what your body wants to say. Just be present, even if it's a lot of noise going on in your body, at least be present as much as you can. And then if you need a break, but like I say, dancing, moving, all the things you can do to be walking, singing, all the things you can do to be with your body in abundance. Even holding your body, moving your body. This is like you together, right? Your system and your body needs to learn what it feels like to be in abundance, to be in the rhythm of abundance. And laughing is another very powerful thing. You can, even fake laugh and then it becomes real. Like, when you start fake laughing, you can't help it start laughing because it's so funny, right?
And sometimes the laugh is very sincere when I'm looking at your foam in your cups.
Yes, absolutely. It's very sincere. And, the other thing is when you are with people who, if you allow yourself to empty yourself every day and do some grounding practice, whatever, realigning your system every day, when you come back, clean it out in the morning, ground. So you're a lot more present because if you don't ground, can't be present when you're going to work and doing all those things. And when you're with other people and they're telling you about how they feel, it's important to remind yourself this is not happening to me, right? This is not about me. It's their experience, it's their point of view, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not your point of view. So you don't need to take that on because somebody else is wearing that.
Yeah, certain conversations over the last few weeks have really just like popped in my thoughts. It's not mine.
Right, it isn't yours. They've chosen this particular experience, and there is no judgment about their experience. I mean, you certainly can judge it if you want to, but there's no judgment. It's just their choice. This is free will. We all have free will, whether we know it or not. Somebody's chosen to see life through this view, has chosen this life for whatever reason, and that's okay, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you can't get into someone else's body and change their life for them.
Though I think that would be much easier than changing mine.
Of course, right? That's why we always go into other people's problems because it's so much easier to have an opinion or a suggestion to fix someone else, instead of going, oh, I'm having this issue. I need
Yes.
this. And of course, they are a reflection of your own experience, right? What they're going through and how they speak is a reminder. I don't want that, right?
Mm-hmm.
This isn't how I view it. You can hold two things in your sphere at once, right? This is their choice and this is their experience and this is all they know. When I say choice, it's limited by how much awareness we have. And yeah, I get that it's not me. There's so much, I mean, even looking around you when people are talking from a place of lack and looking at all the abundance that exists is a great exercise.
Definitely different perspectives than I'm used to today.
Yes, that's one
All part of what I've been working on, but just a different introspection, maybe.
thing. Right. And that's good, because the thing is, you can't change anything using the same system that created it. Right. And that's why you need a
Yes.
different perspective. That's why you're here. That's what I do. That's part of
Mhm.
my work, is letting people know there's a different perspective. So that's really great that you brought that up. It's amazing. So we're going to do a little clearing of energy here, just a little bit. And you can just relax. You can close your eyes. Record keepers are going to help move some energy.
Good. More understanding because I was everywhere thinking about all kinds of people, and at least this time I was able to, okay, let's close that book and just go back.
Good.
Everybody's in my life for a reason. Everything is for a reason. And rushing into the next part doesn't have me present in any of the dimensions.
True. True. Very true. And I will say, even though that's all true, that at any time that somebody is in your life that it's not working for you, you can close the door, right? It's not, I'm stuck here, I've got to hang around with this person. It's, you can choose when you're ready and know that that's your choice, that's your free will. You're not obligated to put up with things that you are done with, but you have to know that, right? Okay, I'm done. I
Yeah,
can.
and it doesn't even have to be someone who is present in your life now. It can be someone who has passed.
This is true. It can be someone who's passed. It can be somebody who you had a relationship with who is still living and you still
Mhm.
going, still keeping that alive. And uh, you have free will to say no more or none of this, or I want this to end, right? This takes up a lot of energy.
And another thing that came through was how awesome it was to receive from you.
Aw,
That it was okay for me to say yes, even though I didn't understand why.
that's beautiful. Well,
Yeah,
yes,
it was special on many levels. We'll talk later.
yes, yes. Well, I want to say thank you very much. And this is abundance, right? So it's receiving of the abundance, allowing yourself to receive, recognizing you're receiving abundance, and you are allowing yourself to increase that receptivity, right? So,
And that sums up. It was truly an abundance to be accepted.
right.
It was a great connection.
It was. Yes, beautiful. Let me close your records and then we'll close out unless you have anything else you want to say. Okay. Okay, your records are now closed.
That was amazing. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. I saw when we were closing your records, I saw there's like a golden tree kind of forming inside. So inside you.
And now to just keep coming back to this moment all day long.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Betsy, for doing this, and I'll talk to you soon.
It was amazing. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. All right, the end of the podcast, and we'll be back next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.